So here we are in the new room. You guys have seen this a lot at this point, and back there are the speakers that used to be in my other room. I love this room. I love the sound of this room. But what do I do now over there if those are sitting right there? I still need a tracking room. I still need a killer speaker with good transient response. I still need something honest I can hear to hear what I'm recording. And I think I found it. Kali Audio, these are the SM8s. I've sat in front of the IN8s, which are, I mean, we probably admit that that's like a budget level monitor. It's not very expensive and it sounds pretty good. This is Kali's stab at going at, I guess you'd say, the big boys. I don't want to say I didn't expect a whole lot. I didn't expect them to punch as high as they do. It's a good time to mention this is not a sponsored video, although Nate from Kali did send me these speakers to try out. There's been a bit of a back and forth there. I'm not being paid for a video. If I want to keep these, I do have to pay. So still take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is just my anecdotal experience. Here's what I'll say. I've brought people in who have had the same extraordinarily expensive monitors that I had, that are pretty well known for being really expensive, but having this wild thing that the transient can do. That is here in these speakers at less than a third the cost. These aren't cheap speakers. I think this is $5,000 for the pair. But as far as high level monitors go, that is not terribly expensive, and it's cheaper than my previous set. Big thing here, Kali basically took their IN series and just went crazy with it. The level of distortion on this box is so minimal that in the tuning software, which I can show you here in a second, you can boost ridiculous levels to correct your room. And by the way, it's all built in here. Another point of why what Kali's doing is awesome compared to some other companies, but we'll talk about that in a second. But you can boost so far, and the distortion here is so low, the speaker can handle it just fine, correcting your room and then still being just this crazy clean box. I think that's what's going to be off-putting if you do listen to something like this and you're used to listening to a hyper colored box or something that's like fun to listen to. This is honesty and anti-distortion to the highest degree. The other weird part, if you're not used to it, this is a coincident tweeter design. Is it a coincident pair or coincident tweeter design? I'm not really sure. But the tweeter sits within the mid-range driver and the transients are lined up so that they hit you at the same time. It is wild for clarity. This room now, which I had a trouble trusting before without using some type of room correction or like really knowing what speakers are up, I got to know these fast. And at first I hated it. I wasn't having a good time until I took the mix to the car and I was like, oh, it sounds exactly like the room. That's the mark of a good speaker. When it may not be fun to listen to, but translation is there. The tweeter on the very expensive monitor that I used to have, that's what I liked, that the transient would hit me and I can set de-essers, compressors, I can hear attack and release times, I can hear reverb tails. Like, the importance of having that like transient hit you without being colored is huge to me, and this freaking does it. So let's just take a look at the back. Don't worry, I marked it. So here you can run AES, EBU, or XLR in. You'll notice network switches, which we can get to later. A lot of different ways that you can dial this in yourself if you want to like put it next to a wall, bring it out away from a wall, put it on a desk, hang it for whatever. You'll also notice this is a volume wheel that I have taped to mitigate vibrations. I don't use this at all, so I have covered mine. I recommend you probably cover yours, but this is your favorite, Josh.
Oh yeah,
the angled XLR. When you said that, I'm like, well, that's kind of silly, but it actually is freaking awesome. And it just makes it, one, really easy to plug in, but two, to get it close to a wall, which these sound great right up to the wall, or they can sound great depending how you set them up. So let's get in to the setup. This is where Kali is doing stuff that's freaking cool, because I don't want to say the brand of what I used to have. I'm not talking about the Focals. I love the Focals. I'm talking about the ones I had before the Focals. The speakers that I had here before the Focals, that these remind me of very close. You could network them, you could tune them, you could run software on them. Latency was kind of an issue if you didn't run them in low latency mode. The updating of those speakers, you would constantly lose features or they would get put behind a paywall. Pair that with the speakers kept getting more expensive, but I still have friends who uses a set of that speakers, and he listened to these and liked it. Which I think that says a lot for a fraction of the price. These speakers, just like the other ones, have the ability to tune on board, and they come with software. That software, I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn if I say like it's open source, because I don't technically know what that means, but it's not protected. You can just go download it. Here's the software that you end up with. So I have these linked up via Ethernet to a switch down here. Don't judge me, it's kind of a mess. That goes to the computer, and now we are into this, and I can upload my room correction right on board. Latency, I don't notice anything. I'm sure there is, because it's digital. There's something happening. The input into the speaker is analog, but clearly we're going through something here. I don't notice any latency. Everything's happening on the speaker. So how do you get into EQ? You could do that yourself. But what Kali has done is they've set up an entire thing here. We go to their website for the Santa Monica's. You have a whole how-to page. How to measure your speakers, how to tune your speakers, how to upload that software. Nate Baglios, God, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm really sorry, Nate. He's a peach, in a good way. Is that a bad thing if you say somebody's a peach? He's a sweetie pie. How about we say that? And a freaking genius. Nate has videos on here where he walks you through the entire tuning process. And if you are in the market for these speakers, I recommend watching it from top to bottom just to see what he's doing. But he has also paired it with a step-by-step guide on what to do while you're doing it, how you're doing it, where to set your dip switches, how to hook up a secondary interface to measure all of this. It's easily consumable. It's easily consumable. The instructions were written so an idiot like me could figure it out. What they're doing is effectively consolidating all of this hard to find information and how to tune your speakers, or something that people would kind of guard and be like, well, you do this measurement and we will do the rest of the process, and you pay us to get that thing. You can do that with Kali. You can take the measurements and they can, I think it's $50, and they'll give you something which is far cheaper than it was with my other set of speakers. But he also gives you all the tools for you to do it yourself, and a lot of knowledge along the way. So I was using my SonarWorks mic, and I talked to Nate because I wasn't getting the results that I wanted out of it. He asked what I was using, and even in his documentation, he recommends getting the Earthworks M23R, the reference mic. I borrowed a friend's, redid it. He's exactly right. Definitely worth a purchase if you want to do any tuning of any kind. And the beauty there is you have it and you can retune any system. It doesn't even have to just be these speakers. He's not trying to recreate the wheel. He's giving you links to free tools to do this, and one of those tools is Room EQ Wizard. If you've never used this before, this is above my pay grade, and I would not have been able to do this if it hadn't have been for like watching him like a hawk step by step and doing this. It'll spit out your room EQs to the point where you hit save and then upload it in the Kali software, and then it's done. It sounds fantastic to have something as flat as you can have it in your room. I feel like I can talk a lot about the speaker sound, but there's no good way to make a video about speakers. I'm not going to be the guy to talk specs here. I can just talk about how we use them. The tones that we're getting, I feel very confident working on these, and I was nervous switching, but after having done a ton of different sessions, metal, country, we had a punk session, a few acapella sessions, and like R&B, and then like a Christmas thing in the month that I've had these up, they have been so fast to dial things in. I feel like I can hear when I don't like something really, really quick. Was it the session you were here at where we like, nope, snare's wrong?
Yep.
And we kept like going back to the snare, like we could tell really, really quick. And that's the biggest thing about tracking. You need to be able to hear what's happening in an honest way. Like, I don't want a speaker that's fun, that's gonna like smear the image. I need to hear the transient. I need to hear low distortion, what is happening at the source. So the video
Add about
gives
2
you
to 5 minutes for each speaker in your room on top of that.
When you come to do it subsequently, you'll find that this process is extremely fast and reliable.
Good old Nate.
The first steps that were visualize the moving microphone method versus other measurement techniques like SonarWorks or the ARC software from IK Multimedia.
The moving microphone method. I did not know about this until talking to Nate. I have never seen that before, and it makes so much freaking sense. And I tested that so many times, and it comes out the same every time. I did not know that was a thing, but it makes complete sense when you think about it's getting everything all around the room. You can just randomly point it while you're measuring, and it takes an average of everything, which is what you want. That's above my head. He's a wizard. The whole thing to think about here, I don't know of another $5,000 pair of speakers, and I understand that is a lot of money for some people, but if you're doing this and you're making money on it, you're going to have some kind of investment in speakers. And I don't know of another set of speakers in this price bracket that can touch these, let alone for the amount of tools that you get with them. The knowledge here, like, could you go do this with any set of speakers? You absolutely could, but I'm a stupid mixer. I don't know anything about speaker design. I don't know how to tune the speakers. I hire people for that when I need it. The beauty of it is he's giving you all the tools to do it yourself. Like, this is anti-gatekeeping, I guess, and I freaking love it because he wants these speakers to work in as many rooms as possible. And I think what he's doing is really cool. And I don't see a whole lot of other speaker manufacturers do that kind of a thing, that kind of like inclusivity. You know, maybe these speakers will or won't work for your room. Maybe these are too big, or maybe these are too small. But by doing this with the base of these speakers being very low distortion, they are now flexible for just about any room. And if you have a halfway decent sounding home studio already, just in the room acoustics, these can take it over the top. My word. Honestly, when I first learned about Kali and I first sat in front of the speakers, I liked them. I didn't expect them to have this heavy of a hitter with the experience and monitors that I have had, albeit there's people who have sat in front of much nicer speakers than I have and have a much wider vocabulary, but I'm not necessarily interested in the hyper crazy speaker stuff. I can only tell you what we use it for here in a studio context, for tracking, for mixing, for a little bit of mastering here and there. They have been an absolute delight to work on, and the transition, which I was horrified of, has been very, very easy. Have you had any experience with Kali's? Have you worked with the IN series? Did you expect something like this from them? Do you want to try it? Do you care? If you have questions about anything like this, go to Kali, contact them, ask questions. Nate or somebody on the team, I'm sure, will reach out. They are more than happy to answer any question that I have had along the way, and I'm sure they will help you out too, so go check that out. If you've made it this far in the video and you might be interested in this Kali audio, Nate talking about how to tune your room, there's so much knowledge here, but I know I'm sending you somewhere else, so come back to my videos, okay? Please, please, please.